Hey, what's up, crypto people? It's your boy Crypto Siege with another day in the life and the crazy life that is cryptocurrency. And I tell you what, guys, I have been immersed for the last day and a half or so, the last 2 days, checking out YouTube, checking out some YouTubers, and just kind of really trying to take in all the FUD, if you will, around the lending platform space in terms of ICOs. It has been really, really interesting to watch and take in. Um, Seeing people decide to no longer participate in lending platforms, seeing people decide to just start doing regular ICOs or altcoins. Um, it's been really, really interesting. And even people, like Trevon James, being really hesitant to kind of promote, maybe review something, but to promote it. It's been really, really interesting. And this is obviously, a backlash from, the demise of BitConnect. And I find it very, very interesting. I would say that I am amazed by the amount of people that were uh, surprised or shocked that BitConnect has met its demise. I'm amazed by the amount of people. Um, uh, the fact that they laid out a 2018 roadmap, um, and then a couple 3 weeks later decided to do what they did was interesting. And I don't know the reason behind it, other than I know that it nothing is sustainable. I thought they had 2018 in them, but apparently they did not, and that's probably because of what happened. The big pullback with Bitcoin. I don't know, but probably. Um, I'm not an expert on that. I think someone like Sean Walters would probably be able to give you guys better insight on that. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, I would definitely recommend that you do, because he has a perspective, having been on the other end of the platform, if you will, than we, right? We participate in the platform. And he's been on the other end in terms of building out, being a developer, a dev in the platform. He has an interesting perspective. And so, so just kind of really just been kind of checking it out and taking in all the different things, all the different YouTubers making these changes. And quite honestly, with USI Tech doing what they did, a few days after BitConnect, or was it the other way around? I forget. Um, that put a lot of fear and certainly doubt into people's minds about these type of platforms. And I get it to a certain extent, um, but I think that there are better ways to handle it, and everybody has to make their own decision, obviously. But I think there are better ways to handle it. Um, I thought that Mike Michaels today, with his live stream, I believe that live stream was today. It might have been yesterday. I might have caught the replay. I don't know. I can't remember what time he did it in the day, but I thought he had some interesting points and some interesting insights. And I really am intrigued by his proposal, his suggestion. And I think it makes good sense. And I will say this, that I've done a couple of videos. Obviously, my YouTube channel is young, very new, right? But I did a couple of videos. If you guys will watch those videos, I did a couple of videos on the fact that this is our chance, that they, quote unquote, don't want us to win, right? That old money, quote unquote, don't want us to win, and this is our chance to win. Cryptocurrency allows the average Jane or average Joe to win. It allows the average Jane or Joe to participate in an arena or space that has primarily only been available to the wealthy, to the rich, to ultra rich, those who don't want us to win. And this is our shot. And I think what Mike is proposing is a great idea. Whether or not it'll come to fruition, oh man, I'm just finding out where this BTC dominance comes from. How you click on it. I guess that's how you do it. I was trying to figure it out. Anyways, forgive me. Yeah, I think it's an interesting proposal, and you know, what he's looking to do is to, in a sense, call or put together, you know, collaborate with, you know, come together, lock arms with, you know, the YouTubers that have the bigger influence, that have the bigger channels, and begin to hold these lending platforms to a higher standard. And, you know, to, in essence, when you do that, you will run off those who come into this space, the lending platforms that choose to come into this space. You'll run off the bad ones. And I agree with him 100%. And I agree with him 100% in that, you know, the first obligation, if you're going to run a channel and if you're going to take advantage of, I don't know, referrals or subscribers and these referrals to these lending platforms, that, you know, we have to take the people first, right, ahead of ourselves. And, you know, it's one thing to say that you're not going to take money from these devs who offer you money. It's one thing to say it. It's another thing to be really transparent about it, if you will. And maybe perhaps in addition to not taking this money is really holding them to a higher standard and coming together. And I think that by coming together, we have more strength. We have, you know, listen, these sites can't make it without the majority of us being involved in the platform. They come to the YouTubers with the bigger numbers, the bigger channels, right? Because they have a measure of influence. Well, what if, for example, we were able to get people like Sean Walters and Mike Michaels and the Oracle, whatever his name is. I don't really care what his name is, to be honest with you. Maybe people like Aaron St. Hilaire. I don't know, maybe Ryan Hildreth. You know, kind of get some of these people who have the bigger channels to come together. What you don't want to do is run away, right? And because then it will hurt the cryptocurrency space. People don't necessarily want to have their name tied to a lending platform for whatever the reason. Understand that you have power. We have power in numbers. And, you know, listen, if we all come together, especially the people who have the bigger channels, come together, we have better power. We have more power, and we have better leverage that way. You know, look, I have a small channel, right? It's just getting started, but I understand how to grow a team. And I understand that there's power in numbers, right? And I also understand that when you serve the team, you're much better off than if you're just serving yourself. And unfortunately, a lot of people, you know, get this YouTube and they're not used to building teams in the thousands, and they're not used to helping people reach six-figure income levels. So, you know, when you're doing a video and some subscriber is subscribing to your channel, that's awesome, but that's not, you know, quote unquote, growing a team. And so, and what I mean by that is, you're you know, there's a certain distance between you and that person personally, where you can affect them, where you can help them, where you can get a sense for where they are, right? And so because of that, you can't reach them as well. And when you let them down, they're more scorned because there's not a greater relationship there. It's just, you know, them watching a video, right? And so when you quote unquote let them down, then there's this big backlash, right? And if you're not used to building a team where there are going to be times when you let them down and you're not used to dealing with that, you can run away from that. And when you're not used to communicating and to them and letting them know that we're in this together, there can be challenges, right? And so I'm very, very, very curious to see who's going to raise their hands, as like Mike said, and kind of do that together. I'm very, very curious to see that because, listen, some people start a channel and they're out for themselves, right? They're out for themselves. That's the honest truth. And but the real truth, the bigger picture is the more that we come together, the more strength that we have. And I'm not a big fan of one YouTuber, dogging out another YouTuber. I've said that on my videos before. It only hurts us. The more divided we come, the more it hurts us. And if we're going in all these other kind of different directions, if you will, it makes us weaker as a whole. And so we all know the benefits of the lending platform space. We all know the dangers that come with them, but we can eliminate a lot of the dangers if we come together. And we can look there. Just an interesting point that I think Mike made, and Sean Walters made it before, and that in the beginning of these lending platform space, 70% of them were trying to do something positive, and 30% were obvious scams. Now it's kind of the numbers have flipped, and Sean Walters said that if you think there are lending platforms now, you wait a couple of weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. He was right. They're going to just pop like popcorn, right? And he made an interesting video showing how easy it is to get one of those platforms set up, just to remind people of the potential of the dangers. But that can be offset by coming together. Listen, these platforms don't stand a chance without us participating in them. And so if we come together, we are infinitely stronger than if we choose to do things ourselves. I mean, that is 100% the bottom line. And there are a couple, three, who are trying to make a run like BitConnect made. And me personally, I don't believe that was an exit scam. I believe that thing just ran its course, and primarily they were paying, paying versus the Bitcoin price, and that dumped. So, I mean, that's me. I don't know the platforms and how they work as well as a Sean Walters, but I don't believe that to be an exit scam. I believe that those type of things, any kind of lending platform, is not going to last forever. But I do believe that they can run for 2 and 3 years if done properly, and kind of learning from past mistakes, those type of things, and just kind of see how that goes. And in the end, if there's a chance to get 1% or up to 1% of your money a day, we should not have a negative attitude about it. What we should have a negative attitude about, in my opinion, is the 1% a year that you might get in the bank, that you might get. That's what we should have a negative opinion about, and my opinion, and so these platforms do what they can, and we have a chance to leverage them, but we want to be able to have it be as close to a win-win as possible in lending platforms. If we hold them accountable and hold it a standard of competent developers and competent, websites, and a certain amount of transparency in terms of interviews, and being to answer questions and answer tough questions, and understanding that we have power in our numbers and have quote unquote demands, okay, quote unquote, okay, because of the numbers. Remember, these guys, they rely on us to be able to participate in them. And so, I think when you come together and you take the skill set and expertise that a Sean Walters has, and you take the skill set and expertise that a Mike Michael has, and take that for the skill and expertise that the Oracle Timas D'Antonio guy has, right? And maybe put that with the Aaron St. Hilaire and the skill sets that he has, whether it be marketing or whatever, to perhaps help a developer do better at marketing. I'm not sure what the skill set of someone like a crypto boss has. Quite honestly, I don't know. I know he was in the space. I know that he was pretty popular. I know he built up a nice channel. But other than that, I don't really know what the skill set he might offer. Maybe even Ryan B. Hustle B, I believe his name is Ryan Hustle B, something like that, as well, and pool the talent strengths, the strengths and skill sets together, and make quote unquote demands. Okay, and make quote unquote demands. It might be one of the demands is actually having a trading bot. It might be, actually, showing the fact that you do have a trading bot, or however it is that you're trying to get us money, get these monies paid out to people, okay? Because you can do that when you have the numbers, and there's no need to, you can settle your differences, or you can kind of agree to disagree, but when you come together, like the quote unquote old mafia style, where there may have been differences, but you squash them for the good, right, of that quote unquote organization, right? You squash them for the quote unquote good of the organization. And I think, quite honestly, that is something that should happen, and I hope fans of Mike Michael see this video, and I hope fans of Sean Walters see this video, and I hope fans of the Oracle see this video, and Crypto Balls and Aaron St. Hilaire, et cetera, and understand what can happen when you come together. I certainly feel for those who lost money in BitConnect. It's a tough thing to lose that, but I think that if we come together and we make a point of emphasizing, the quote unquote, if you will, principles behind these lending platforms, and strategies behind them, the investment strategies behind them, it's great to get different perspective. It's great to have Mike Michael's perspective and have the Oracle's perspective. For me, quite honestly, I listen to, those three guys are my go-to guys, and Aaron, that's what I go to kind of get a different insight. I make my own decisions, obviously, but to get different insights, why not use, the skill set that Mike has in terms of investigating and looking into, and I think Ryan Hustle B, or Ryan B, does the same thing as well. Why not use that skill set, right? And why not use the skill set that Sean Walters has in his background? Why not use that? And if Sean can put his input on something, Mike can put his input on that same thing, and come together. And obviously, we all understand we're all big boys and girls, and understand there's still some risk, but coming together and leveraging our strengths and talent is smart to do. It's not dumb to do. It's smart to do. Because then everyone can make money. The devs, and they're 1 to 2 to 1 to 8. They always say they have 8 or 9. I seriously doubt it. Can still come in this thing and still win, still make money. We all can make money in this space, quite honestly, in the lending platform space. And we're all trying to do the same thing, and that is to acquire more Bitcoin, right? We're all trying to do that, and it can be done. It just has to be done intelligently and maturely, and understanding that that they're not designed to last. Lending platforms are not designed to last forever. And if one can have a good run, like I said this in my video yesterday, I believe. Like, for example, Davor pays out 7 days, right? And it's 1% plus, or whatever it might be. And I've heard this said, "Oh, that was a bad day." Like, hold on a second, dude. You just got 1% of your money in a day. That's not a bad day. It's not a bad day. And I think we have to, forget, we gotta, sometimes we gotta come back to, the system outside of cryptocurrency, and that's 1% a year, maybe, right? So, and it may cost you money, cost you some fee to get the percentage, right? So, we got to realize that. And so, if platforms can sustain themselves for under 1%, or it's very close to 1%, then let it do it. Let it do its thing. let's not expect 2% a day for 3 years. I'm not sure if that makes sense, right? Maybe 2% a day for a period of time. Maybe it's 30 days, and then expect the numbers to change. But if we pool our experience and skill sets, knowledge and talents together, then we can win that way. And I'm trying not to ramble on, but I think so I have a different background, right? I'm a business guy, home-based business guy, and we've been blessed to build teams and several thousands, and so I know about the power of coming together and leveraging your talent, your skill sets, and I know a little bit about that, and so I think that there's some things that we can learn from each other if we come together, and there's no need to attack this person. Remember, when you do that jokingly or try to say you're doing it jokingly, you're hurting us as a whole. You're hurting us as a whole, and so and that is this is time for, like I said, a chance for us to play in the space or arena that is generally, for primarily only available to the ultra rich. And I get you might make some money. I get that. I get that you might make $1 million a year or $2 million a year. But I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the ultra rich, right? I'm about the ultra rich. And so this is our chance to participate in that space and that arena. And this is a chance for the college kids to get rid of college debt, right? This is a chance for the the laborer, the bank teller, the truck driver, right? The small business owner to win. And if we come together, we can pool our talents, resources, skills, and knowledge, and to win and hold these lending platforms to another level of accountability. You know what I mean? Another level of accountability. And that's why I say I'm very, very curious to see who's gonna do that, who's gonna put their egos aside and come together. That's the thing. That is the most important thing. And then we can all win here. And we can intelligently build up a cryptocurrency portfolio, not every 99.9% in a lending platform. That's not intelligent, right? So we can, pool our talent and our resources and our skill sets and put them together and hold these guys accountable, and there's no reason to just accept that there's going to be some exit scams. Well, exit scams. Why? Why do we have to accept? We don't have to accept that. They need us to participate. You know what I'm saying? They need us to participate. Think about that. They need us to participate, and there's a certain amount of leverage that we have, and we should be able to put that in force, put that to work for us, because there is a certain leverage that we have. And why not take advantage of that? And who knows? Maybe with this another level of accountability, maybe the space gets some credibility. You know what I mean? Maybe the space gets some credibility that it obviously sorely needs right now. I'm not walking away from the space because I understand how it works, right? I mean, I understand how it works, and I know my game, my goal coming in and my goal getting out, right? And but we can learn from each other and educate ourselves. I love what Mike Michaels did today, taking questions, right? Because he has a certain expertise, right? And lending his expertise. And I think I was reviewing an ICO, and I can't remember the name of the ICO, but it was talking about, so it was, instead of man versus machine, this was some ICO. Instead of man versus machine, it was man and machine. And the way it was set up is that they had their bot, their AI thing, whatever, and they had a bunch of people collectively together. I don't know what the numbers were, 100, 200, I don't know, 300. And they said that collectively, that group of people can solve a problem, issue, challenge, whatever, better than the bot or faster than the bot. And you kind of, because it's putting together a group of minds together, right? And I thought that to be very, very interesting. And so I believe it was an ICO, and I can't remember if I saw it on bitcoinist.com or ccn.com. I can't remember where I saw it. If you guys remember that or are familiar with that, I would appreciate it if you left it in the comments so I can properly explain or at least mention the name. But I believe it was an ICO, a potential ICO. And instead, it said, instead of man versus bot or robot or whatever, or AI, put them together, have them work together and intelligently. And they were saying that the bot was actually learning from humans, but it wasn't just one person, it was a collection. And I believe what it was is that the people were putting in their input on a certain challenge or whatever, and collectively coming together and having the bot kind of learn from the collective of a bunch of people. And it's not about being a brilliant mind; it's about a bunch of minds coming together. That's why I like Mike Michael's idea. I think it's genius, and I think what he's trying to say is, right, we don't have to lose, right? We don't have to just accept that these lending platforms are going to come in and they're going to take your money. We don't have to accept that, right? Like collectively, we don't. And what's happening, and the Oracle said this in one of his videos, is people kind of going around all over the place trying to find answers. So they jump from this YouTuber to that YouTuber to this YouTuber to that YouTuber to this YouTuber to that YouTuber, trying to get some answers, right? Because there's so many other learning platforms out there. So why not come together? And why not be able to dissect these things together? And maybe perhaps, we kind of put our vote in on which ones we think, we narrow that thing down from 10 to 5. We narrow it down from 5 to the top 3. Why not do that? Why not be able to do that? And like, we're all in it together, all in it together. Why not? And I think that doing it from that perspective can work. I don't know about the whole, all that stuff in terms of supply and demand and how it's going to work if we're all trying to get something or trying to buy. I don't know. But I think that if we come together and we narrow it down and eliminate and hold these, eliminate the shitty scammers, hold a certain, and let them know. Like if we did the YouTube things and we said we are coming together, or we did a video on YouTube and we said we're coming together, and the YouTubers are coming together, and we are, slamming the door on the scammers, right? Then who's going to come through the door? You see what I'm saying? Who's going to come through the door? If we're saying we're holding the lending platform space to another level of accountability, who's going to come knocking on the door? Not the scammers. They won't come. We will eliminate them. And only the ones who have a good idea, who perhaps have some kind of good use case, who feel as though they are intelligent enough and capable enough to run a platform will knock on the door. And the ones who know that they're in it to get the money and get out real quick, they're not going to knock on the door. They won't come. If we set our standard, if we set our standard, they won't come. And, if, this particular YouTuber that has a big channel or whatever is, doesn't put themselves first, puts their subscribers first, then they'll raise their hand, they'll come together. And I keep likening it to the mafia because, listen, we all know how that worked, right? Right? Back in the days or whatever, right? There were just different sides that had disagreements, but they came together and settled them for the greater good of that organization, for that, whatever you want to call it. And so we can do that too. We can do that too. And then this way, we don't have to worry about all these different landing platforms, right? Because only the ones really trying to do something for a sustainable period of time and feel as though they're confident enough to knock on our door will come, right? And so that's kind of my 2 cents on that whole thing. And again, I do hope that the fans of the Oracle, which I am a fan of, and the fans of Mike Michael, which I am a fan of, and the fan of Sean Walters, which I am a fan of, and the fans of Aaron Say Hilaire, which I am a fan of, come together. I hope you guys see this video, and I hope you say something too if you're a sub on Crypto Boss or Ryan B, or Crypto Yardy or whatever, Crypto Glover, people who might have some big things. I hope you say, hey, I heard about this thing Mike Michaels is doing. You know what I mean? Because you don't have to take an L. You don't have to, quite honestly. Because we all know these, the ones who try to do their thing, we know eventually it kind of comes to an end, right? And we know that. And, why not have a top three, and collectively we're supporting the top three. Collectively, we're supporting the top three that we choose. You know what I mean? Why not? We don't need 10, 15 of them. If we got a top three, or top three, you know what I mean? And they're performing, why do you need 10 of them? You don't need 10 of them. I don't think. Why do you need 10 of them? You don't need 10 of them. The reason why quite honestly, the reason why people are in 10 of them is they're trying to mitigate the losses. But I think you can survive on the top three. And I think in order for everybody to win, let's not all try to get 40, 50, and 60 X's all the time. Let's be good with a 10X. Don't forget the other option outside of cryptocurrency, right? Don't forget that the other option outside of cryptocurrency is rarely a 10X, rarely, and that's over years. Yeah, and let's not forget the other option. That is the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, right? Let's not forget the other options. That is the mess that is the banking system. Okay, so let's not forget that and understand it. It's cool to take a 10X, 5X. That's cool, right? That's cool to do, right? And just repeat that, right? And I tell you what, guys, once you set that standard, it's gonna. I'm telling you, it's gonna scare off the scammers. It's gonna scare off the scammers. And so, again, I've been listening to different things on YouTube and listening to these different YouTubers before I did this video, because I wanted to do it, without emotion. I wanted to do it without any particular bias. I wanted to do it not taking anything personal. That I might be subscribed to a particular subscriber, and then somebody who's subscribed to another subscriber is making negative comments about him, so him or her. And so I didn't want to take anything personal. So I took a little time to do this video before I would put it out and thinking about it. And I'm very, very curious to see how that goes. And we know of, it's what, 2 to 4 YouTubers that might be able to or have been able to get interviews. We know there's 2 to 5 YouTubers with a certain measure of or level of influence, and I say come together for the greater good. There is no need to calling out other YouTubers. We have more power in coming together. That's the bottom line. And Mike gets that, right? We have more power in coming together. It's not a competition, right? It's right. I mean, if you've been around long enough, you understand there is no competition, right? So it's not about who has the more subs, right? It's about coming together to win, because we're all trying to do the same thing, and that is to get more Bitcoin, right? I mean, that's what we're all trying to do ultimately. So, why not come together and try to make that happen? And so I'd appreciate you if you guys left in the comments, what you think about that concept coming together. Because quite honestly, I believe it will work big time. Because listen, in the end, it's our Bitcoin, and we choose to put it on the platform. So so that means we have a certain leverage, right? We have a certain leverage, and it's time to hold these platforms to another standard, a higher standard. And it's not okay to lower it. It's not okay. So set some standards, whether that be an interview, whether it be showing some commitment, whether it be the lending versus the internal first, or the external. I mean, all these different things. We can hold them accountable, support, all these different things. We can hold accountable, because we know, right? You've been in the lending platform space for a minute. You understand, the good and the bad. The things that work well and don't work well. We all know. And I get that some of these devs are reaching out to certain people and ask them certain questions, but we need to come together. If it's a top 5, then it's a top 5. But certainly we don't have to be in 6, 8, 10, 12 of these things, and trying to mitigate loss and spreading our money out evenly, and all because we're cautious and worried about the people who want to exit scam. That's why I did a couple of videos, and some of them were titled, is it better to wait until these things hit the exchange before we participate versus participating in the pre-ICO and the ICO? And that's one of the reasons, because of that potential exit scam, besides the whole crash, sites crashing and, stuff selling out in a second, identical stuff, and who knows, once we come together and settle on a couple, 3 or whatever, then maybe the devs will have a different way in which they lay out these ICOs. You know what I mean? I don't know in terms of availability what that will mean. I don't know what that means. But I do know that we can hold these platforms in terms of tokens. If we're all coming together, can we all get some, type of thing? I don't know. But I do know that we can hold these platforms to another level of accountability and demand, if you will, that they meet them, because it's our Bitcoin, and they can't operate without us. And because quite honestly, social media is powerful, and there's YouTube. The people who do the YouTube channels have a measure of influence, and so we should use them wisely. And I just heard somebody today, another guy, that I listened to, respect, saying that he was ending the lending platform space, and now that's kind of like the phrase to say I'm getting out of the lending platform space and I'm strictly whatever. And I just say, let's come together, right? Let's come together and become as one. And then this way, we can all make some money together, and then the lending platform space will be part of the portfolio instead of it being something where we feel like we have to be in. So many, so just got to get some 20, 30, 40 X's because we want to get some money. We can do it. If we come together, we can infinitely have better leverage, more leverage if we do it together. So anyway, I've been rambling on. And I wanted to just kind of share my thoughts on that really, really quick. I have something to do on this platform today, and just I like a lot of things about Davor and what they've been doing. Again, I didn't get involved in the pre-ICO, ICO stage, and I'm still in this platform, still have a loan with this platform because they're one of the, the few, one of the 2 or 3, I guess, that are kind of doing their thing and paying out 7 days a week, and trying to make this platform work, being responsive and interacting in terms of support, getting back and answering emails and these type of different things. And I think it is better when we have the devs knowing that the top YouTubers are coming together versus picking and choosing, and perhaps even putting one against the other, right? So let's take the power out take the power away from that quote unquote devs and those platforms and the lending platforms, and let's remain, bring the power, let us gather that power and utilize that power and leverage the power that we do have. And so, yeah, so $17.11 in the lending wallet today. And 1.49, I guess, will be sometime later this afternoon, because since it's after 12 midnight, if you're on the, I guess that's East Coast time, right? So, yeah, so I'm going to transfer this over to my Dav wallet. Love this platform. Again, it pays out 7 days a week. And I'm not sure if BitConnect paid out 7 days a week. I don't think it did. I don't think it did weekends, no. And USI Tech spot, it's business days, whatever that was. So 7 days a week is awesome. I noticed that they're adjusting here and doing what they need to do and to make the platform work. But I think that if, again, we hold these platforms to a certain standard that's reasonable, obviously, then it can work for us. And I think that if we as a group, as a community, understand that, expecting 2% a day and, for 2 years or a year is not reasonable, then, we can, make it all work. We can tell those platforms, let's try to make something sustainable and have it work for a while and leverage their strengths, because there are a couple, three, some these lending platforms that have some wits about them and are smart and know how to run these platforms. And it would be a shame that we're pooling our money or putting our money into platforms that are exit scamming, and not putting it in a platform that's trying to do this thing, that's trying to be sustainable, it's trying to work, because we're in some other platform, and it's not winning because we're not in that platform. So we want the best of the best, the cream, that thing. And we can demand that if we come together. If we come together, we can do that. So, for the lending wallet, transferred over to the Dav wallet. You saw how quickly it did it. I love it. The platform, again, like I said, from day one, Davor has kind of done what it said it was going to do. I wish I would have got into the ICO stage, but I did not. But I did want to take advantage of the very generous interest, and I did. And so that's what we did. Obviously, we didn't take money from our own pocket. We won on an ICO. It was a buy and hold ICO. And, we a minimum 20x, I think. And so we took some stuff off the top and participated in Davor and participated in USI Tech. Yep, I said it, USI Tech. And was happy to do that. I think that they have the chance for the best sustainable platform, to be honest with you. And we all know that it's kind of masked around something else, but I think they have the best chance to transition from a quote unquote rev share, if you will, to something sustainable in terms of a real company with real mining, okay, with real volatility software or whatever. I think they have a good chance doing it. And they have to tweak some things at USI Tech, but I think once they tweak that whole, rebuy commission on commissions, like what? Like that's, listen, I participated in it. That's too much. That's too much for long-term sustainability. Let's be generous enough to be, let's put it to you this way. Let's be generous enough to be sustainable for a period of time where we can all win. And I think that, those guys over there, can do that. And the fact that they're paying out in Bitcoin is nice, and it's brilliant, and it's great for us. And let's make it a sustainable platform. Because I heard some things that some of the people were doing, and I know 100% they were doing it 100%. But anyway, so on this platform, first day of interest was January 5th, and it's paid out $434, and today is whatever today is, I don't know, 25th. So from the 5th to the 25th is 20 days. And I'm sure that's right around $21 a day. So and it pays when you want to withdraw, you withdraw. When you click a button, it works, right? And so two things real quick. profit calculator, you can put the amount of money you want to put in. Let's say you want to do 1,001. It tells you how much that data is. And it tells you the rate. The capital back thing is, listen, for me, my strategy is to, take out from these platforms every single day. And what I mean by every single day, we're literally withdrawing every 2 weeks because it's a small amount, it's $15.70, and we don't want to pay $6 to $8 every single time we take some money out. Somebody who has, I saw somebody today, they had 40,000 in there. So yeah, at 40,000, right? Your total investment is $45,000 you're taking out every day. So I heard he was taking out. He actually said he was taking out in the morning and at night. I don't even know what that means. But like, how do you do that? So anyway, that's what he was doing. So yeah, so you can put your amount in there, and it tells you get an extra 0.10%. Again, I don't pay attention to this capital back date because of taking out every single day. One of our principles that we use in our in our household is not to fall in love with the reinvest button to take your money out every single day. And that for us is going to be twice a month because of the size of the loan. If it was a bigger amount, we would be doing every day and not paying attention to the $6 to $8, which is essentially $42 to $56 a week. We didn't want to do that, so we're doing it twice a month. Feel very, very comfortable about this platform. Expecting our money back in about 65 days, 64, 65 days, somewhere around there, to have earned our money back, and everything after that is gravy. Don't know how long this platform is going to be around. Feel as though that risk of $1,570 was the reward was worth that risk, and so that's what we did. And we have principles that we go by to invest in a platform, right? You got to get involved in that platform early. Got involved in this, it wasn't 45 days old when we got involved in it. The devs have to, show that they're going to do what they said they were going to do. And this one did that. You want to take advantage. If you're not involved in the pre-ICO and ICO, the only way you're looking to do anything with this platform is it has a good interest rate and a good platform, like withdrawal button works, right? When you hit profit calculator, it works, those type of things. So you never fall in love with the reinvest. You get involved. If you're going to get involved in one of these lending platforms, you want to do it early. And my recommendation, this is just what I do, it's not financial advice, it's what I do. So I take my money out every single day and get that capital back as soon as possible. Then when it does what it does, that's extra cash flow for however long it might last. And which is, again, leads credence to coming together, because if you come together and these YouTubers come together, you have more power, and these platforms can last longer. Right? Because you can, if a measure of influence, you can say, stop expecting 2% and say, hey, come on, guys, we want sustainability. Sustainability, at 1%, for lasting over a long period of time will give you more than, 2% or more, and it's lasting for 4 months or something like that. So come together, guys. And so it shows you that. And I like that they have this optional capital lock boost. So $1,001. 0.10% interest, obviously 5,000 is a little 0.20, 10,001 is 0.25. Make sure if you're going to do 1,000, make sure you do 1,001. Okay, if you're going to do 5,000, make sure you do $5,001. Make sure you definitely pay attention to that. But this optional thing here is interesting. We didn't do it with our first loan with this platform, but I think that's interesting. If you're not really worried about this, then why not get this extra? So that all kind of depends. All kind of depends. We did not do it on our first one. We may consider it for our second, but it'll tell you how much money to expect, what your payouts will be. So daily is $13.61 because the average 7 days is 1.26. And 30 days, again, is 1.26, and that's how much you would get every 30 days. So the last 30 days at 1.26, you make $408.30. So again, and the release date is that's the money there. Which is pretty cool, and I think very, very, very interesting. And so so excited about that. So that's, if you want to do that, that's how you can tell. So I did this to the DAV wallet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to the exchange and sell the DAV. All right, go over to the exchange. Long video, guys. I apologize for that. But sell it, sell it, right? Here it says buy and sell DAV. So we're going to hit sell DAV. And we're going to hit all of the DAV. And we're going to do ask last. You can do ask or bid. I'm just going to do last. I'm not messing around. 60678. 606. Yep. So do that and you just click sell DAV. Something didn't work there. Oh, I didn't do anything. That's why. Uh-oh, what the hell did I just do? I did click all, didn't I? I guess I just went through on that way. I didn't see a fee there. I guess I did it. I hope I did it. So I hope I did that right. I think I did. But anyway, so that is how that works. I don't have any more dabs, so I guess it worked. Bitcoin. And so that's it, guys. I just want to kind of, yeah, here it is. Just want to kind of show you how that works. So right off the bat. Again, I would love your comments on the idea that I talked about in the beginning. I'd love to hear your feedback on that, how you think it works. Yeah, definitely leave in the comments. If you like what you heard, definitely hit that, smash that like button, if you will. And listen, we're new to the YouTube channel, so we'd definitely love your support by subscribing. I strive to kind of bring value every single day in every video that I do and bring a different perspective, I'm excited about growing this channel and bringing you guys some value every single day because I believe we're in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. And I want more of us to participate. I want more of us to win, because like I've always said, old money doesn't want us to win. So we have to come together and make it work. So listen, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Again, hit that bell for notifications when I'm doing another video. And listen, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we shall see you guys soon. See ya.